All right, please tell me that this works again. I see little volume things, so I think that I'm going to be able to make this work right now. And I'm waiting for the delay here to make sure. All right, we're good. Oh my gosh, I am so bad at technology, and being bad at technology is not a good thing when you're a YouTuber, but I'm learning, and so that's good. So I'm going to start all over again. Thank you all for your patience. In English, we say thank you for bearing with me. I'll write that down here. And yeah, let's get started. And I'll hopefully go for a full hour here, maybe a little bit more since we've been so late. And I love this informal setting. Like when I did the live with Karina, my God, it was all I could do to keep up with all the comments that everyone was saying, you know, and trying to be able to respond to all of them, you know, as quick as possible. So it's kind of like our Telegram group when I'm writing so fast. So that's funny. Yeah, Daniela, where is my video editor to help me? That would be a good thing. I need someone who's good at technology. I should tell all of you, because you as my padrinhos are helping me with this. So I was able to hire a video editor. I said that I wouldn't do this until I was earning about $2,000 per month on Patreon, but I really needed the help. It's been really busy for me here lately with more videos and dedicating myself fully to the channel. And I have more news for you that I'll share in a little bit. But I finally went ahead and hired him. I tried a couple different ones, and they had edited some past videos of mine kind of secretly. And so now I have one. So thank you all so much. It's really freed up my mind, freed up a little more of my time. So I am able to make maybe 3 videos a week as opposed to just 1 or 2. So you guys rock. I want to start by answering 2 questions. I always want to say responding to questions in English, because in Portuguese, responder perguntas, right? But normally we say answer questions. So I want to answer 2 quick questions that I got on Patreon. And the first one was the difference between the words all and all. And I'm going to type them here for you. You probably saw it happen earlier, so just scroll up. But the word all with the apostrophe. Actually, tell you what, I need to come prepared with paper next time. But it's the difference between all and all. There isn't a difference. Did you notice that? Like in English, like I would say, I'll eat it all. I'll eat it all. I'll eat it all. And I will, especially if it's chocolate, which is my favorite food. But don't worry about the apostrophe. A lot of Brazilians, or a lot of people learning English, no matter what country they're from, what their native language is, are very scared of that apostrophe and think that it makes the word really strange, but it doesn't. I mean, especially in this case, it's just all. So that was the first one. The second one had to do with if clauses. And I'm going to open, I found a link about if clauses. So if clauses in English, and I'll write here what they are, is like in Portuguese, se eu fosse mais jovem, eu correria mais. Something like that, you know, se eu fosse. And what does se eu fosse equal in English? Like, how do we express that? And typically our subjunctive form of, for example, well, of any verb is the same as our simple past. So if I ran more, I would be more healthy. If I ran more, I would be more healthy. And I could also just use it in the simple past. I ran, right? I found a good website about this, and I'm going to open it right now. But one of my pet peeves, and I'm going to write this word down too, pet peeves. A pet peeve is something that bothers you sometimes, and usually it's something very little that doesn't bother many other people. One of my pet peeves in English is when people say, if I was younger, instead of if I were younger. So the verb to be has the irregular conditional were in this case. And a lot of people, a lot of Americans make this mistake. I think I made a video about it, like 7 erros que até nativos da língua inglesa fazem, ou cometem. So I made that video, and that is one, if I were, and that's one to remember. And I'm going to read some comments here. So Magali Santos, good to see you again. And if I were in your shoes is exactly right. So a lot of Americans want to say, if I was in your shoes. And that's not correct. But the majority of the time with the verbs, it is just the simple past for those. And there's actually 3 types of if clauses, and it's too much to talk about in a single video. So I wanted to give you guys a link in the meantime. It's actually from a German website, believe it or not, about these 3 types of if clauses. And I will make a separate video about this whole thing. Okay. So that's it. And I'm going to start looking at some of your comments here. Nonato Silva, I was studying. Interesting, your last videos. I love the new sticker. Well done. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I think when you said sticker, you meant like opening, like abertura, vignetta would be opening. In English, sticker is like something that, you know, criança, like a star will put like on their shirt right there, is typically a sticker. And let's see. Yes, Adriano Alves, Gavin consegue ler o que escrevo. Consigo sim, even if it's in Portuguese. So that's good. Keep writing questions if you're gonna, if you have questions about that, but I want to take maybe 10 minutes and talk about a little bit about the history of the channel. I want to make a vlog about how SmallAdvantages kind of came to be, but I want to hear a little bit about what your questions are before I make this vlog, because when I hear about your questions, it's going to be good to help steer me in which direction that I want to take the vlog. So it'll be good. And after you, if you continue writing things, I will go back and I'll start reading them after I'm done. So I talked about how I started to learn Portuguese in my last vlog. And that was back in 2011 when I decided that I wanted to learn Portuguese. And you saw that it was kind of randomly. It was from Spanish. And it was just because Brazil has a large population and I just wanted to learn another language, but I wanted it to be kind of easy. And so Portuguese was somewhat similar to Spanish, which I already knew. I started the channel in 2014, and I had been studying Portuguese off and on a lot before I went to the World Cup in 2014, but I still wasn't fully fluent. I struggled a lot when I was in Brazil. In January of 2015, I was looking at YouTube and I saw this channel of this American, what's his name? Oh, the name of his channel is O Mundo Segundo Teddy, I think is what it is. And he posted a video with the title like Americano fala sobre a experiência ótima de aprender português, ou Americano ama a língua portuguesa, algo assim, algo que chama a atenção, something that really clickbait title, we call that a clickbait title, and I'll write that in here. Meaning it makes people want to click on it. Bait is isca, so isca para clicar, right? Clickbait title. He gave it a clickbait title, and he spoke in Portuguese in the video, and I was not that impressed with. I mean, his Portuguese was good. I'll say that. I mean, I'm always impressed when someone learns a foreign language, so that's the wrong thing to say. I thought it was cool what he did. But he got maybe 50,000 views, and I was thinking, Poxa, like if I can speak Portuguese better than him, why can't I make a video? You know, why can't I start my own channel? And that very day, January 10th, 2015, I started. I began the SmallAdvantages channel, and I posted the first video, which was just me talking about going to Brazil and learning Portuguese. And you can see where my Portuguese was at around that time. Since then, man, it's been it's been a crazy experience. Like the first 5 months of the channel, I actually thought the channel would be more for Americans who want to learn Portuguese. And many of you ask me, well, if there's a lot of Americans wanting to learn Portuguese, you, Gavin, should create a channel for Americans wanting to learn Portuguese. And yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, but there's not really that big of an audience compared to the audience that there is in Brazil wanting to learn English. And what really made the difference in my channel was I finally got a comment one day from someone saying, Gavin, you need to start making videos in Portuguese about English for Brazilians. And I thought, man, that's a good idea. Like, I titled the channel Small Advantages because I thought these small advantages would be for Americans. And you can see in the first like 5 videos, they're tips for English speakers. I think I do most of them in English, the videos. But after I got that comment and after I made my first video, o maior erro que brasileiros cometem quando falar em inglês. That's I think my most popular video, maybe my second most popular. And I realized how much of an audience there is in Brazil, an enthusiastic, excited, prepared audience for learning English. I realized that the channel was going to be for learning English. And so I was, you know, like working on my doctorate at the time. You guys in Portuguese say, eu estava doutorando. But in English, we have to say, I was working on my doctorate. We don't have a verb for I was doctoring, something like that, in the sense of working on my thesis. But I was working on my doctorate, so I only could post about a video a month. And so I didn't get that many views. I was excited one day when I got like 10 cents or 80 cents in ad money. And I decided that I needed to go to Brazil to really turminar, to really like, oh, I need to plug in my battery. There we go. To really kind of speed along my learning. And so I went to Brazil. I bought the tickets in December. I didn't tell anyone on the channel. I was learning Faroeste Caboclo for 5 months, and I released me playing Faroeste Caboclo the day before I left for Brazil. And that video became fairly popular. And being in Brazil, I think I went from something like 10,000 subscribers to maybe 40,000 by the time I left after the 2 months. So it was really great for the channel, but I think even more than anything, it was great for my Portuguese. I obviously living in a country, there's nothing like living in a country of the language that you're trying to learn, right? The internet's a miracle. It's amazing. You can learn so much on the internet, but actually being in the country, that's awesome. And so I learned a lot of informal Brazilian Portuguese, and that really helped me with future videos, even up until now, because I understand more the way to relate to Brazilians in my videos, and a lot of Portuguese speakers from around the world, I guess, too, but obviously mainly Brazilian since I was there in Brazil. And I think it's made my videos more relatable and less pausey and less, more fun, I guess, because you guys don't have to try to hear what I'm saying through my accent or wait for what I'm gonna say. And so it's a good thing for everyone. And then in June, in June, I hit 100,000 subscribers, and partnering with Karina Fragoso was a really helpful thing in the growth of the channel too, because a lot of her audience started to subscribe to me because they saw me in a video with her on her channel. It's now one of her most popular videos too, about gírias americanas versus gírias brasileiras. Question for you guys, did any of you find Small Advantages through Karina's channel, or how did you find Small Advantages? Just randomly? Write in the comments, I'm curious. But yeah, I hit 100,000, and then about a month later in early July, Catraca Livre featured my channel. And I know a lot of people don't like Catraca Livre. I don't have an opinion one way or another. For me, it was just exciting to be on a national scale platform, to be recommended from the channel, or for a good YouTube channel for learning English. I got like 20,000 subscribers that first day after they recommended me. And that was so cool. I was really thinking about, I wasn't thinking about quitting, but I was really thinking about becoming a full-time scientific translator after I graduated, because I wasn't making enough money on YouTube. And a lot of times I didn't feel like enough people appreciated my work to continue. And to get that influx of subscribers was absolutely phenomenal, and really reaffirmed that there is an audience for what I want to do, and you know, what I want the channel to become. And so I graduated in September. The channel had about 200,000, maybe 210,000, something like that, maybe even more. And the ad money still isn't enough to support me at what I was making just by being a research assistant in addition to working on my doctorate. And that's why I decided to start the Patreon page. And so that's where you guys are helping me. And I just am so motivated every day, and everything's great. You know the story now, like most recently. But I kind of want to, in the vlog, I kind of want to talk about that whole process. So if there's anything else that you guys specifically want to know, definitely write in comments, and I want to add it to a vlog, because the vlog will be a lot like what I just told you guys when I explain the growth of the channel. I wanted to talk about a couple things that are my personal YouTube beliefs, and then I'll start answering. I see there's a lot of comments building up in the chat here, but I want to talk a little bit about my YouTube beliefs, because a lot of people give me suggestions on a daily basis. Gavin, you should do this. Gavin, you should do that. Gavin, you should update your abertura, your opening. You know, and some of the suggestions I take, and a lot of the suggestions for the videos, probably 90% of the videos I do are actually from you guys in terms of ideas like if clauses or the difference between all and all. I don't necessarily create these things just thinking of them without listening to you guys. It's your suggestions that make my content. So it's really important to be able to listen to my subscribers and to interact with my subscribers. But one of my beliefs is I can't interact with my subscribers on YouTube too much. Now, I'm more than happy, and I love interacting with you guys on my Padrinhos. It's a good exchange because there's a smaller amount of you, and I can actually handle like all of your questions and everything, and I love doing it. I wish I had time for every single person. But if I start interacting too much on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter, it just takes hours and hours and hours to respond to everyone. And that's one of the reasons why in a website that I create soon here, I want to have a forums portion of the website so that questions can be asked and other people can respond to them more easily too. And I can see the questions that are most requested to be answered so that I can respond to people. But it's, in English we say, it's a blessing and a curse. So to have 350,000 subscribers is obviously a blessing, but it's a curse in some aspects because I'm a friendly guy. I want to talk to everyone directly, and it hurts sometimes to not be able to, you know, send emails or, you know, respond to all my emails or comments on Facebook or everything. So that's just something that I needed to learn. You don't need expensive equipment to be a YouTuber. I don't have my GoPro here. I still use just my GoPro. Someday down the road, maybe I'll get a better camera, especially the audio quality could be a lot better, I think, with the GoPro. But just like Whindersson Nunes, you know, he's just a guy in a room with a small camera, and just it's what's up here and, you know, what's in his heart that's coming through the camera to an audience. And I think that's what's important at the end of the day, especially since so many of us are so sick of mass entertainment and overproduced TV shows or reality shows. I think I love YouTube not because it gives more of this overproduction, but because it gives more of real people how they really are. So I believe that, you know, everyone has something to offer on YouTube, and you don't need expensive equipment. I also think it's important to stay humble. I really don't like when people commemorate 100,000 subscribers or, you know, certain accomplishments. I got this many likes on Facebook. Like, at the end of the day, I do what I do here for you guys. And it really bothers me sometimes when people are so like, oh, look at me, look at this channel that I've grown, 100,000 subscribers. They all want to look at me, you know? I think that's kind of the wrong attitude to have about the whole thing. Again, I'm really excited that the channel's so big. You know, it's super cool. And it just means that all of us are able to share more ideas, more conhecimento. It helps me with my Portuguese. It helps you with your English. It's just like, that's the whole purpose. It's a big exchange, you know? So that's why people ask me to do a 100,000 subscriber video or a 300,000, 500,000 subscriber commemoration video. That's why I don't do them typically. I think I'm gonna do a video though for the 2-year anniversary of the channel, like talking about the popular videos and moments and all of that. A lot of people also ask me to make videos about palavrões, swear words in English. And there's 2 reasons in general. There's more than that, but in general, there's 2 reasons why I don't do these. First of all, in English, I don't swear probably almost ever. I really find swearing disrespectful. I know that words are just words, but words have meanings attached to them, and words are attached to social constructs. And I don't like to break constructs that are in place for perhaps an arbitrary reason, but nevertheless, it's a reason. And yeah, that's just not who I am. I don't like that. I prefer to be respectful, and I don't want to offend anyone. Second reason, which is more important for you guys, is when foreigners learn English and they try to use swear words, not slang. It's really good when you know, Brazilians try to use slang or everyday English, like "Sup, how's it going? You know, not much. How about you? It's great. Yeah, blah 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 blah." That's all good stuff. Peace, man. Keep it real. That's good stuff. That's normal English. But I have found with Brazilians who try to learn palavrões in English and try to use them, it just sounds brega. It just sounds corny, and it's not even disrespectful. It's just like sad almost. Like you're trying so hard, but your palavrão just sounds so brega. Your swear word just sounds so corny when you use it. Like, don't even try, you know? So maybe your English is good enough where you feel comfortable with swear words. I don't swear in Portuguese because I don't think my Portuguese will ever be that high where I can do that. And that's just why I don't do, you know, make videos for you guys in English. But that's just a small little thing. So that is kind of the things I wanted to talk about with the channel. And so I'm going to go up and look at some of the comments. Magali, okay, so I'm going all the way back to Rafael Ribeiro. Gavin, I haven't received my letter yet. I'm working through them. Don't worry. I have a stack like this big, and Lauren and I try to write, you know, a couple every day, and we're sending them out. And so hopefully it'll get to you. It also seems like it takes about 20 days for the postcards to go from the United States to Brazil. I don't remember having written yours. I don't remember your name yet, though. So hopefully soon. But don't worry, I didn't forget anyone, and I'm doing that. Magali, we're all ears. I love it. Todos ouvidos. No, todos orelhas. That's funny. I just think that's so funny that ouvido and orelha are 2 different words in Portuguese. Although, like in English, for example, like narina and nariz, we have nostril and nose. So I guess you guys that could be just like that for the ear. Maybe that's how you picture it. Por natureza, João Paulo Fernandes de Lima asked if I know this expression. I actually didn't know that that expression exists in Portuguese, but we say by nature in English. It's a direct translation, so that's pretty cool. Francisco, who lived in Silicon Valley. Eu estou tentando arranjar emprego nos Estados Unidos. Já fiz 300 entrevistas e 6 meses sempre me deparo com o fato de perguntarem sobre sponsor. Por que é tão difícil conseguir emprego nos Estados Unidos? Você teria alguma dica para mim passar? Pode responder em inglês. Man, well, I think I read something one time that for a business to be able to hire someone, a foreign person, it actually will cost the business right now somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000. And so that has to do with the visa charges. That has to do with all the work permits. If you guys know Brian and Michelle Roxbury, Michelle is finally getting her paperwork so that she can work here in the United States. And luckily her sponsor was her husband, but otherwise the legal fees to translate all the documents, if they didn't know a translator like me, I actually translated Michelle's documents, but just the translation and the legal fees would cost around $4,000. And then you have the work visa, you know, things like that. I'm not sure. I don't know the exact things that you need. I'm not versed in that, I guess. I'm not an expert in that. But yeah, I guess you'd really have to prove that you are worth $10,000 or $12,000 to the company in order to be able to come to the United States, for them to invest that money to bring you here to the United States, you know? So it's difficult. Adriano Alves. I used to be an English teacher before graduating in medicine, and I felt I'd reached the point that there was not much more to learn. But since I started watching your channel, I've been learning a ton. Wow, Adriano, first of all, that was perfect English, and you used the present perfect continuous, you used the past perfect. That, like, you did a really good job, so well done. And you know, that makes me really happy to hear that it's benefiting you and other people. And I think that's what I've realized is the whole purpose of Small Advantages. There's a lot of English channels, and like escolinhas de idiominhas na esquininha in Brazil, right? Like the English town schools and stuff that can bring you up to a certain level with the basics, basic to intermediate. And that's, of course, super important. But my goal is to try to take people from that intermediate to advanced. You know, like intermediate to advanced. By the way, I just noticed I'm saying intermediate instead of intermediate. I hope you noticed that too. I just made a video about the NT sound. But when I was learning Portuguese, I noticed that I reached a plateau, you know, a intermediate, where I felt that I wasn't progressing. This is after the World Cup and when I started my channel. And finally, I was able to get out of that plateau, and I want to help other people do that in my own native tongue. And you know, I talk to my friends here in the United States who have this problem with other languages too. How do you go from intermediate to advanced? And so it's those small advantages that I really want to focus on. Awesome. Yeah, informal English too. Faroeste Caboclo. Someone found me through Brian, Karina, Morgana Souza, conheci pela Karina. João Paulo Arthur, também João Paulo Fernandes de Lima, randomly. Awesome. Okay, I'm skipping through here. I think that's really cool that you guys use, I just saw someone talking about writing stuff in a notebook. Okay, Carlos Alberto Dias, when you learned Portuguese, did I have a notebook or flashcards? You wrote you had a notebook or flashcards, but you need to write, did you have a notebook or flashcards? Yes, I did. That would be something really cool. Maybe I'll scan the pages of my Portuguese journal. It's really interesting to read my first couple pages of when I was learning Portuguese. Like, obviously now I know all the mistakes I was making and everything, but back then, man, I didn't know. You know, I was struggling, and we're gonna make mistakes all the time. For note or for flashcards, I use the app Anki. It looks like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but it's this little guy right here. And Anki, I'll also write it here. But Anki is free, except I believe it's either on, I think it's on iPhone, where it costs $25, which is ridiculous. But all desktop versions, I believe, are free, and on the phone, it's free. Mairo Vergara, in his English classes, I believe, focuses a lot on flashcards through this app, through this aplicativo. And I absolutely agree with him. More than anything, I think what really accelerated my Portuguese learning and got me out of that plateau was working with this flashcard system. So instead of having physical note cards that you like flip through and try to remember and go to the next one, something like that, this app, actually, you tell it if you felt good, normal, or bad, how you felt about that word. And if you felt bad about the word, you will see the word more sooner, okay? You'll see the word sooner. I forgot the word in English there. You'll see the word sooner again. If you felt really good about the word, you won't see the word again for another 20 days. And so it's a really good way to prioritize learning vocabulary, learning sentences, and all of that. So definitely do like flashcards and stuff if you can. Okay. So I would wish it was hard to learn these. Adriano Alves, wanting to make videos in the future for YouTube, like editing, putting subtitles, and so on. Yeah, I kind of learned as I went. Baptism by fire, they call it. Bautizo de fogo. I forget what baptism is in Portuguese, but baptism by fire means that you learn because you have to learn. And so that's the way it was for me. And luckily the channel, when you're starting your channel, it's going to be small. There won't be many subscribers, obviously, at the very beginning. And so that's a good time for you to kind of start those videos and learn what you're doing. The plans for the future of SmallAdvantages. So I have news about that in terms of another series of videos I'm going to do, but I'm also going to launch a website in January that's going to have forums for everyone. Like I talked about in the Seja Padrinho do SmallAdvantages video. Like I talked about in that video, I'm going to create that site. I want to have resources there, like actual word resources instead of just videos. I'd like to start a series of podcasts. And in July of next year, I'm going to start a course. Okay, and I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I want the course to be. But again, this course is going to be to take people with SmallAdvantages from an intermediate level of English to advanced, maybe over 3 or 4 months. So I'll talk about the future plans, this new series of videos when I get to the bottom of the list here. But thank you for the question, Rebecca. Magali, that's awesome that your students are talking more in class after listening to my videos or watching my videos. That makes me really happy. Okay, it was so todas orelhas. Thank you, Cleidson. So Dalani Lubaski, hello again, Dalani. I will make a video about this. Tell you what, I'll try to make a video about these if clauses because someone else I saw commented on them too. I'll try to make a video in the next month or so because that's a really important question. That was a little hard for me to learn in Portuguese too, especially with the subjunctive. Oh my gosh. Danilo Rodrigues Pereira, I'm looking forward to receive my postcard. Remember that you always need a gerund after phrasal verb. So I'm looking forward to is the phrasal verb, looking forward to, and then receiving my postcard. Looking forward to receiving my postcard. But that sounds awesome, man. I'm working through it. My hand hurts sometimes, but it's so cool to be able to talk with you guys directly. Adriano Alves, corny versus cheesy. There is a small difference, but it doesn't. In your case, it doesn't really matter. We typically say a corny joke is a joke that is bad, and it's so bad you can't laugh at it. Cheesy joke is a joke that was bad, but there were good intentions, and so you'll be like, oh, but it was still muito brega. So I think cheesy is a little less strong than corny. Do you find it funny that corn and cheese are both foods and they both mean brega in English? That's kind of funny. João Paulo Fernandes de Lima. Do you know a guy named Kevin Potter? Yeah, it's Kevin Porter, actually. And he got in contact with me, and I've emailed him back a couple times, and I haven't heard from him. But it'd be super cool to do like a collab video with him or something. And he was a big inspiration to me when I was starting the channel too. And he is Mormon, I believe, and that's how he learned Portuguese so well. And he lives in Santa Catarina now. And so his Portuguese is amazing. Like, it's awesome. I would love for my Portuguese. I need to come back to Brazil to work on my Portuguese again. I'll probably go to the Nordeste next year, 2017. And I'll do encontros and all that. But, man, I can't wait. Oh, Guilherme Polito. Gavin, why don't you organize a meeting with the patrons of the channel? Yes, I would love to do that. And before, I may do like a large encontro, a large meetup for the whole channel, but specifically for the patrons of the channel. It'd be awesome, you know, in whichever city I'm in, whether it's Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, or the Nordeste, or Manaus, you know, wherever. I want to see every Brazilian state. I almost said I want to know every Brazilian state, which is conhecer. I was thinking of conhecer, but we can't say that in English. But yeah, I would love to organize a dinner with whichever patrons are in that city. I think that would be awesome. Okay, so I messed it up again. You were laughing. Okay, Cleiton Gomes. O correto é somos todos ouvidos. Somos todos orelhas. Okay, todos ouvidos. Acertei, por fim. Okay, I'm finally at the bottom of the list. Floripa. Yeah, it would be awesome to know, or to see Santa Catarina also. So guys, 2 pieces of big news. I may have mentioned one of them to you. The first is that if you look very closely in my last couple videos, you'll see that the apartment is looking emptier and emptier. There's furniture being moved, decorations are being taken off the wall. Hey, look at this. Big globe. I forgot that I had it set right here. Yeah, okay, I'll show you the room afterwards. But anyway, talking about the apartment, are moving to a house, to a different house. The apartment, we've lived in there for 3 years, and since I graduated, we've been saving money, before, like, since 4 years ago, to finally put a down payment, that first initial payment, on a house. And so we finally did that here in Fort Collins, and that will really, really help us with our savings. So instead of paying rent, we're actually paying off a house and contributing to our future. And it's so exciting, and I can't wait to show it to you all. And there's a basement in the house that I want to convert to a YouTube studio for SmallAdvantages. And yeah, we are just endlessly excited. And it's only like 3 miles from where we live right now, so it's not going to be a very difficult move. Lauren loves her job here at the emergency room. I am able to do my job remotely here and then travel to Brazil is the plan for the future. And so that's why we chose to stay in Fort Collins for right now. You know, Lauren working at the hospital as an emergency room nurse. And that's the big news about the house, which, yeah, again, I will show you pictures and all that. And actually on Saturday, we're officially moving. And so I want to make a vlog about this, and I'll make a vlog about this on the channel. But I wanted to tell you guys first. And it's the reason, actually, that I was going to do like an awesome Padrinhos, like Christmas edition live, but we don't have our internet set up, and it's really messy with all the furniture and all that. So that's why I had to do it in this blank wall. I'm actually in the engineering department of Colorado State University. I'll show you this office here. So this isn't my office, but this is a common space that we can all use. Big map of Colorado, big globe that we use to talk about weather phenomena across the globe. But students can come here to work in between classes. There's about 100 students in the atmospheric science portion of the engineering department. So yeah, we have this space, and I've made some videos here in the past. I made a video in that room one time that you might have seen. And so yeah, because we have the new house, that's why I have to go onto campus and have a better, like, to have better internet service and to have it not be messy, you know. Cool. Yes, I'll teach. I'm reading some of your messages here. Welcome, Hejani. Good to see you again. I actually met Hejani in Rio de Janeiro at one of my meetups back in April, I think. So some of you I've actually met in person, which is kind of cool. João Paulo Fernandes de Lima, is Lauren a nurse? I bet she loves Grey's Anatomy. Yes, and yes, she loves Grey's Anatomy for sure. Magali, good call about some furniture vocabulary. I think I'm going to do the whole thing in English, and I don't know, like, I'll put subtitles on it, and maybe I'll think about pausing the video to talk about like stuff that we did, but we'll see. Gavin, is Lauren the queen of the house? She seems to have good taste. Yep, exactly. Bom gosto. Yeah, she and her friends will do a really good job, and I'm really thankful to have her. And we're both very OCD. OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm going to write it in here, which means that we are very neat, and we don't like anything in a wrong place. We like everything perfectly arranged and organized. So yeah, it's great. Lace Lapines, nice house. Gavin, do you have a P.O. box? I would like to send you and Lauren a Christmas card. Thanks. By the way, how Lace Lapines wrote Christmas is how in English we sometimes write it like X mark is like crisscross. We call the X crisscross. So Christmas. I don't know. You don't pronounce the T in Christmas, even though it's Christ. It's Christmas. But anyway, I'm going to open a P.O. box in January for sure. I know the place and everything. And the Padrinhos will be the first people to know. But hey, that'd be awesome. I'd love to receive mail in return from you guys. So that'd be great. Adriano Alves, I don't know if a down payment is entrada. It's the money that you pay, like 20% of the house when you first buy it. So maybe that is entrada. I don't know. So I want to talk about another big development in the channel. So I've talked a lot about wanting to help people go from an intermediate step to an advanced step. And I've mentioned before in vlogs that when you're learning a language, you're both learning that language and you're learning how to learn a language. And it's the second direction, how to learn a language, besides like just whatever language you're specifically learning, this process of how to learn a language that I want to focus on the channel, because I get a lot of questions from you guys like, oh man, how did you learn Portuguese? Or tell me about the process, or do you have tips for me as an English native speaker? And the best way to answer these questions would be to recreate the process. Now, obviously, I can't recreate learning Portuguese from the beginning, from 2011. And I can't recreate learning English. I learned English since I was a child. And for many of you, you're already very advanced in your English. So how do I recreate the process knowing what I know to teach people how to learn a language is the question I'm asking myself. And the answer is that I need to learn another language and document my process for you guys, document it in Portuguese, make a series of vlogs about it, and kind of come up with some tips, you know, some helpful things. And you guys can see me go from 0 to fluent in another language. And so I chose another language, and I've actually been learning another language and keeping, you know, very good records of how this has been going. I've been practicing about 30 minutes every day in this new language. And I've also been obviously keeping up with my Portuguese and trying to make, you know, 3-4 videos a week for you guys and improving my Portuguese. So I'm studying 3 languages now. I'm studying my native language so that my tips are good for you. I'm studying Portuguese. I'm still reading books in Portuguese. I was just listening to Itatiaia today, talking with conversation partners on Conversation Exchange and italki, probably about once every other week. So I'm doing that in Portuguese. And then the language that I'm learning is Czech. I'm going to write what it is in English here. And so you all will say, that's so random. Why are you learning Czech? Why aren't you learning a bigger language? Why aren't you learning German or French or Chinese or Japanese? There are several reasons. The first is a more personal reason. My mom's side of the family is all Czech. So my dad's side of the family is all Scottish, Escocese. My mom's is Czecho. And so that's why I want to learn Czech. I know. You got, a lot of you are gonna zoar me for learning Czech. Czech is also interesting because it's very different from both English, which is a Germanic language, and Portuguese, which is a Romance language. So it's different for both of us. And when I'm learning this language, I want to document to you guys my process, and I don't want to have an inherent advantage, an advantage that I have for being an English speaker when learning this language. So neither of us has an advantage, and it will allow me to relate all of this in Portuguese from a non-biased standpoint, you know? And there's other reasons too, like a cool reason for Brazil actually, Juscelino Kubitschek, o pai do Brasil moderno, his mom is Czech. Kubitschek is a Czech last name. So, you know, Brazil has some ties to the Czech Republic there. But yeah, nothing is going to change. I'm gonna continue obviously with my the series that I've been doing of Inglés Informal, of, you know, all the English grammar videos, make versus do, and the if clauses, and interacting with you guys, and being on Telegram, and doing these lives, and learning Portuguese still, and talking about Brazilian culture. That's all gonna continue. I'm not stopping. I'm just adding this extra portion to my learning so that I can pass on this knowledge, you know, to other people, how this experience was, and maybe pick up some new tips. So you guys will see that I'm very worried. I know I'm going to receive a lot of complaints, a lot of people who are mad that I'm learning another language, almost like, and I'll probably mention this in the first video that I talk about this. In January 1st, I'll post this video on SmallAdvantages about how I'm learning Czech. But people will think it's like their dad divorcing their mom and making videos about it on YouTube, you know? And some people will be upset about it, but it's really, really something that I want to do. And it's something that I really feel will help a lot of my subscribers. And if people don't want to watch it, they don't have to want to watch it, or they don't have to watch it, because everything else is going to stay the same or even better now that I have more time because of you guys to do this. So that's just to let you know. Those are the two big pieces of news in my life, the house and Czech. So I really appreciate your guys' support with all of that. And yeah, it's awesome. So a lot of good stuff for the future, a lot of good stuff. And so I'm going to start. I have a couple things that I want to ask you guys to wrap up the video here. The first, okay, so I haven't scheduled the lives for starting in January and going forward. Do you think that there is a better time for you all to have these lives? You know, would a Sunday night work better than a Wednesday night? Have you heard of people in the Telegram group, for example, who can never make Wednesdays? I want to make sure that the most people possible can watch these lives. So either on Patreon or here in the comments, write what you're thinking about, you know, if this time works for you. And I know because all of you are here, it works for you guys, but especially if you've heard from other people that it doesn't work for them, I'd like to know that as well. So definitely help me with that. I'm going to have a public live with Karina Fragosu in January. So I already had one in December. So I think my live for January will be a really big public one. And I want to take questions from you guys specifically when we start this live with Karina, and especially about difficult English words. So I'm going to ask all of you before that live to give me some difficult words, and I'll make a Patreon entry, a Patreon post about that. But the new time for the lives, if we make a new time, will start then in February. And actually, I think it'll begin in the beginning of February, because I have some friends who would really love to be on a live, and it would be really fun for us to converse like all at the same time, you know, and you guys could see what it's like. We're all going on a ski trip up in the mountains here in Colorado in February. And so, yeah, it'll be crazy, and you'll see what, you know, maybe like what a party atmosphere is like in English too. Like, you know, a lot of people having to talk over people or shout so they can be heard. And that's important. I mean, you know, when I was in Brazil, I was in several situations like that where, man, my Portuguese was still getting better, I went to a happy hour at the YouTube live studio in São Paulo. And so it was 200 Brazilian YouTubers, native Portuguese speakers, and me trying to interact with everyone. And they have boots, 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 like music playing really loud, and people yelling and laughing and singing and dancing. And it was a really hard thing to try to hear people's Portuguese and then communicate with them over all of this music. And it's a good experience. So maybe I'll try to do a live like that. For you guys, something that's going to be interesting that I can't recreate, can't, emphasis on the T so that you know it's can't recreate. Something I can't recreate is having to actually physically interact with friends. So in Brazil, you know, I would have to like do the kiss on the cheek of all the girls and like the abraço for the guys. And here in the United States, like when you go up to someone, it's just kind of like, hey, nice to meet you, or maybe a handshake if you're lucky. There's not that you know, formal kiss or the abraço. I love that about Brazil. I miss that, and I always feel awkward kind of when, you know, I meet a girl here in the United States and I hello. Like, it's such a nice thing just to be able to do the kiss on the cheek, and it kind of makes the whole conversation from there less awkward. So anyway, we'll see about that live. I have another idea for a live with you guys that I want to do. So I have 7 cousins. We're all 5 years, like within the same 5 years. So my youngest cousin is, I think, 24, and my oldest cousin is 29 or maybe 30. And I want to invite all of them to this hangout. And so it's 7 of us all talking. We've all known each other since we were kids. And you could see what a conversation between all of us family members is like. I think that could be super fun. So yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what you guys say about that stuff. Unfortunately, I forgot the little slips of paper, like the little pieces of paper that I do to raffle people off. So I'm gonna do that as soon as I get home today. I'm gonna pull out who will Skype with me in December this month, and I will post it on Patreon and email those 2 people. If those 2 people can't make it, then I will make sure to draw another one and contact the next person. I prefer to do this on camera so that you can see that it's truly random, but you will have to trust me this time that I really will just pick randomly. Obviously, I want to talk with all of you, but it's the hardest part. It's a blessing and a curse. I just don't have enough time, but I hope you can understand that. I am posting a video for you guys for my Padrinhos tomorrow. It's the 1st for December. And it's going to be a small talk that I did with a cabeleireira, a stylist, when I got my hair cut. The sound quality wasn't great, and so that's why I was nervous about posting it on actual YouTube. But I really still felt like I need to share this video with people because it's still really good to hear the conversation and kind of see me interacting in public with some people. And so that's why I still wanted to share it with you guys. And so I hope that you like it. And then for those of you who are new in the group, don't forget that every other Monday, which means Monday, not this Monday, Monday, not this Monday, so every other Monday. I don't know how you would say that in Portuguese, so if you want to let me know, that'd be awesome. But every other Monday, I'm on Telegram, so we have a Telegram group with the Padrinhos, and it's been super, super cool to interact with everyone. And yeah, just ask questions and be able to, I don't know, share knowledge, you know, and all of that. So I'll see you next Monday on Telegram. It's going to be the same time as this. So it'll be 4 o'clock my time here in Colorado and 9 o'clock Brasilia time. And I will talk with a lot of you then. But if I don't talk with a lot of you guys, it's going to be the last time until we talk again in 2017, which is crazy. So I'm gonna go through the last round of comments here, and then I will probably sign off. So write anything you want to right now so I see it. I see that Les Lapins is actually Erica Bessa. So hello, Erica. I actually know who you are now. So thanks for letting me know that down payment is entrada. Let's see here. João Paulo Fernandes de Lima de novo. Você falou sobre a palavra chipar e eu nem sabia que essa palavra existia aqui no Brasil. Eu nem sabia que essa palavra. Yeah, so yeah, apparently it comes from an English word, is what people told me after posting that video today. That's news to me. So that was really funny to know. Rodrigo La Maison Bushman da Luz. Minha esposa é frustrada por não aprender inglês. Ela é traumatizada de tanto estudar verbo to be e the book is on the table na escola. Manda incentivo para ela. Man, incentivo. Just, I mean, my biggest incentive has been like to be able to interact with people in their native tongue is just so cool. It's such a unique experience. And what gave me that incentive to be able to first meet Brazilians was booking tickets, buying plane tickets to go to Brazil for the World Cup and to have to learn the language. But having to learn the language is the joy of it all. So I would say that incentivo should be to, if you can afford it, try to buy a trip in the next couple years to, you know, England or Australia or the United States or somewhere else where they speak English, and just do it. That'll be a good, you know, goal to have. Magali and Jessica Santos, thanks for the support about the process of learning a language idea. I appreciate that. Daniela Paiva, eu me chipo com meu marido, by the way. Nice. 6 years of marriage on December 17th. Congrats, guys. That's Saturday. That's awesome. Lauren and I are at 5 years. No, whoops, we're at 4 years. Not quite 5 yet, so we're a little behind you. Is Czech similar to Russian? It is very similar to Russian. It's a Slavic language, but Russian obviously uses a different alphabet. After I learn Russian, I think I would like to learn Japanese, actually. And this is a lot in part due to the fact that my family has a lot of Japanese friends. My sister did an exchange in Japan, and also Brazil and Japan have a lot of population sharing between the two countries. And so I think it would be really cool to document learning Japanese in Portuguese. Let's see. So yeah, que dia vai ser o sorteio do Skype? I will do that tonight, Daniel Miranda. And I'll look at all of your suggestions for the timing of the live after I hang up here on the live. So that'll be good. Não acompanho mais chat no Telegram porque lá é só para quem já domina o inglês, não é para quem está aprendendo. That's interesting. Maybe there's a way that we could make it for both, or maybe we could have 2 levels of Telegram for the Padrinhos of the channel, and so I could maybe interact with both. Because you're right, I did notice that, you know, a lot of people are really good at English there, which is awesome, and a lot of people are sometimes more hesitant to talk because they're worried they're going to make a mistake in something. So maybe one of you guys could create kind of like an intro level Telegram, and we can see where that goes. But that's a really good feedback, Elaine. I don't know. So, okay. Two doubts, 0 answers from Elaine Americo. I hope that I responded one of them. 2 questions, 0 answers it would be, actually. But yeah, so that is gonna wrap it up. That's it for the live today. That's how we say it actually in English. So we don't say vai acabar, acabou. We say that's it, or I forget what I just said, but that's it is a way to say, like, é isso aí, that's it. É isso aí. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the live today, and the next probably 3 lives will be with other people. Like, really cool. This was awesome for me just to be able to interact with you guys directly. But the next lives are going to be even better because we're going to have different situations to make sure that you guys experience different English situations. So I hope that you were able to understand everything that I said. Please give me feedback on that same Patreon post where I posted the link to this. I'll make sure that the video stays there. And I really appreciate all of your feedback during this conversation. It really helps me to know what you guys need and what you guys are looking for. And so that's it. Feel free to contact me on Patreon if there's really something that you need that I didn't answer here, but I'm really trying to get to all of you. If not, look for that video tomorrow. I'm also going to post a video on main YouTube, a new vlog about 5 more crazy language stories, probably on Sunday. Again, I'm moving on Saturday, so that's going to be a crazy day. But Sunday, I'll try to post it. And if I don't see you in our Telegram group, guys, have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I can't believe it's going to be 2017 already, but 2016 was an incredible year for me, for the channel, and I hope for some of your English learning, and I hope that we can all set goals together at the beginning of next year and get even better in 2017. You guys rock, and yeah, thanks for everything. Thank you again for your support. I really do appreciate it, and I hope I'm not saying that enough or too little. I just really want to let you know that I appreciate every single one of you. So with that, peace out, guys. Keep it real. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.